Hi, folks. I want to talk to you today about skirting. We have a lovely lady with us, Miss Ariel Williams, with Kalari's Critters out in Edgewood, New Mexico. And she's not only a wool producer, but she is an artist as well, a fiber artist. We're here in Albuquerque, and we're going to try to help you skirt a fleece so that you can do this. If you have never done this before, it's super satisfying to get your fleece all clean and pretty and ready for the next step, which in most cases is scouring. And let me let you look at this um, skirting table. It's a nice 3.5 feet off the ground. It's kind of at your mid chest if you're an average sized person. Um, this is made from PVC and a nice netting that you can uh, source at Home Depot or Lowe's, somewhere like that. Um, it is made from 3/4 inch PVC, and it has the joints at every corner, easily made. If you ever had any fun with Lincoln logs when you were a kid, or any kind of building materials, this is easily put together. So you would need 4 corner brackets and 2 center brackets. You would need your PVC and lengths of what you would like to make. This is about 2.5 feet wide, and it looks like it's about 6 feet long. One thing that I had never seen before were these beautiful little pieces that John included in his design. Were these pieces that go on the bottom, and they look like nice feet. So yeah, um, he took this netting tightly down on the PVC with some handy dandy zip ties, the farmer's best friend, and we're going to move on into uh, getting a fleece skirted today. All right, Ariel, take it over. Here we have, who did you say this was? Which one of your sheep, Ari?
Itchy.
This is Itchy, and Itchy is a Cotswold. And it's a beautiful fleece. Ariel does a fabulous job of keeping her animals fairly clean. A lot of times you're going to get a hold of an animal that has not been kept as clean, and it's much more difficult to do this process. Um, but this one is going to go fairly quickly. So, Ari, you want to explain what you're doing here?
I'm unrolling the fleece. This is the most challenging part of all of it. This one is thankfully very easy to do. We have some of them are a jumbled mess, and you spend 10 minutes just sorting out the pieces and the parts to see what goes where. And to me, that's the most challenging part of it, is finding out, because you have to lay it out in one piece if you want to show it. So I'm laying it out as best as I can so that this one happened to come out cut side out, which is a good place to start. So this is the first thing that you're going to see is some second cuts. They're the really short pieces that you can't spin, you can't do anything with. This is where the shear may have gone a second blow over a spot. So then I pull out any like miscellaneous pieces that don't belong. There's little bitty nips and curls and this. Then come along, and the first thing you're going to want to do is take off sweaty bits, and if you get any manure tags or armpit sweat, you're going to take off any belly wool that's left over. Um, like right here, we've got some sweat stuff. We'll just pull that off.
And don't worry, there's always more wool.
I do tend to skirt heavily. I'd rather have it cleaner than stuff that is unusable to a spinner. And you still have plenty of fleece left over when you're done.
These pieces that Ariel is pulling off are super useful to gardeners. You can incorporate this into your garden plots. Wool does keep water close to your plants, and it has a cooling effect, which is terrific here in the desert. These pieces are a carbon sink. They're highly conductive of nitrogen, and these are things that we may be pulling off from a fleece that we want to spin, but they are not anything that is harmful to the environment. They're only beneficial. So be sure to keep these pieces and utilize them in your garden. Any plants that you have around are going to love that.
Okay. So I feel like, except for right here, this is an armpit. This is the top, the neck part of the fleece. I could tell because this is the back part and it had all the manure tags. That was the easiest way to tell. Some fleeces it's a lot more challenging to tell, and you just kind of have to guess from the feel. And the neck wool, because of the inherently how they eat, and they drop it on each other, has a lot more VM. So that's one way you can tell them apart.
VM is short for vegetable matter.
So this, now you're going to come in and find any little pieces of vegetable matter. The cut side doesn't tend to have as much vegetable matter because it's against the sheep's body, unless it goes all the way through, which doesn't happen very often. And I make a couple passes just to see, you always find something more when you go around again.
We have numerous opportunities here in New Mexico for you to exhibit your fleeces. The first of which is on Labor Day weekend with Heart of New Mexico Fiber and Art Gathering. And then we have the New Mexico State Fair. And then we have the Mountain and Valley Wool Festival. And then to wrap it up in the fall, we have the Oveja Project Convention, which will be held at Gutierrez Hubble House this year. The Oveja Project will be offering an opportunity for an award of any fleece any wool fleece that does well at Heart of New Mexico State Fair, Mountain and Valley Wool Festival, and the Oveja Project Convention. We'll take 3 of the highest scores and combine them, and then we will offer awards according to what breeds are represented, and hopefully these will be traveling trophies, and the folks can be super excited about entering their fleeces in these competitions. As you can see, Ariel is fluffing out this fleece as she goes around because that is going to help. If you can see here on the video, that's going to help dislodge these possible second cuts or little pieces of of wool that would be undesirable. A judge is going to roll this fleece out at a competition and do this very same thing that Ariel is doing, is going to look for second cuts. They're going to look for the length of the fleece in all portions. They'll take numerous portions of this fleece and see if they're uniform in length and fineness, stability, and just making sure that the front of the sheep, the middle of the sheep, and the back of the sheep pretty much produce all the same quality of wool.
So now you're going to take your fleece and we're going to flip it over now that we've gotten as many of the second cuts as we can find. So you kind of bunch it up towards you, and then you're just going to flip over. And you'll kind of flip from this side, and you're going to lay it out just the way we had it on the opposite side. So often you get it and it looks just like a sheep, which is really nice.
Now Ariel's really, really looking for vegetable matter. Like she said, it's less on the cut side, and now she'll be going through and removing portions that detract from the loveliness of the fleece.
So, and here's some more little armpit grossness that you can see from the other side that you didn't notice.
Now Ariel know which portions you can just wash clean in the scouring process and which portions are really undesirable to the point where you just want to get rid of them.
And don't be afraid to pull out a big piece of vegetable matter. Like if you have a spot that's got a bunch of little pieces of vegetable matter along the spine often and of the neck wool, you'll have lots of little vegetable matters. So don't be afraid to pull those out, because you're going to be squishing the fleece up again and you won't even see that hole. It does tend to be thinner along the backbone, just because of the way the fleece lies on the sheep.
We sincerely want to devote our energy and thanks to Ariel for educating us on this. She and her husband Kyle have come to numerous of our events and worked with potential crafters and folks that are hoping to improve their wool flock on this process. This is a super important process. When you go through your own fleece, you need to be really critical of what's going on with that, and be sure to make some changes to your animal husbandry or your breeding program, or your animal husbandry and your breeding program, to come to the point where you're producing something that begins to get a reputation for its super quality. Now, as you can see, Ariel's getting crazy in here, and she's just putting some stuff out that she doesn't like.
Right here,
Here's a really good example.
this is the neck wool, and so as they eat, it tends to fall, especially if you have more than a couple sheep. They eat over each other all the time. This is also fairly matted. Like, I can't pull it apart easily. So that wouldn't be able to be spun very easily. You could card it, and it may be able to be spun, but because it's so dirty, we're just going to go ahead and pull it off. Whatever comes easily, you don't want to go crazy, because you don't want to lose that much of your fleece. But I'm pulling off all this matted junk. So all that yucky stuff that's felted and stuff is being pulled off. Shake it a little bit and that'll get some more of your second cuts flying from the bottom that you may have missed. It'll pull up some veggie matter that you can't see. Little second cut that came up. If you come across, generally these are really long locks. If you come across something that's not going to be spinnable, this is obviously something that can't be spun because it's little. Go ahead and pull that off.
With this being a Cotswold fleece, it's going to have a longer staple length to these locks, and that's what the breed characteristic is going to ask for when the judge looks at this and keeps that in mind. So the long lock that you saw Ariel separate there, she's hoping for her fleece to be as uniform and lovely in that manner as possible. Shorter pieces are going to be discarded. And once again, those are candidates for your garden, candidates to be felted into a dog bed, candidates to be felted into something else utilitarian.
I'm feeling like this is pretty clean. You're always going to find more as you go around. You can go around and go around and go around. You're always going to find more from different angles. The sunlight will catch something. But mostly, I'm feeling like this is a pretty clean fleece. So, your next step is you're going to bunch it together so that it's dense and kind of in one piece, because you're going to roll this for judging. Okay, so you get it kind of scrunched up. The first thing you're going to do is take a shoulder and you flip it. And pick as you go. If you see something, pick it, because you don't want it in there. And you take your haunch and you flip it, and then you come to your centerpiece and you flip it. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take this corner piece and you're going to flip it over. So this is your shoulder. Right here is your shoulder part. You've got your haunch down here, and then your stomach inside. Okay, so now you have this nice long piece. Kind of bunch it up again so that it's dense. You always start at the rear end of the sheep and you roll. And you want to tuck as you find any second cuts as you go. And you want to roll it. And if you need to tuck in some edges as you go. when you bag this, you want your shoulder to be at the very top. Because this is the prime part of the fleece, is the neck and the shoulder. You kind of tuck it so that it's the cut side is up and it looks beautiful. And you've got all these locks, and the judge doesn't necessarily have to pull it out of the bag. He can pull a lock from here and look at it here. He can come down further in the bag and pull a lock from here and look and see that they're the same length. And that's easier for them to do if it's laid out nice and neat.
Ariel, thank you so very much for your input today. We're going to put this out with the desire that people are capable of skirting their own fleece now, looking at it with a critical eye, and hopefully bringing it to a competition near you. Thank you so much, Ari. Have a good day.